Greetings, everyone. This is Matt Fiello, Technical Marketing Engineer with the Cisco Cloud Networking Compute BU, and we're back with another Intersight Managed Mode Expert Series video. Today, we're going to be talking about one of our server profile policies, the Fibre Channel Adapter Policy. So, usual format here, let's review a few slides to introduce the policy and parameters, etc., and then we'll move on to a short demonstration. Okay, as we've done with previous expert series videos, I'd like to kind of set the tone for server policies, explain the numbers, etc. So there's 38 total IIS server policies. So these policies encompass both Intersight Managed Mode as well as our standalone C-Series server policies. Okay, so of those 38 total server policies, 29 of the policies will apply to Intersight Managed Mode. In other words, we're connecting through Fabric interconnects. So the 9 highlighted policies you see here, we're not going to be discussing. They apply to standalone C-Series, and in some cases, a few of these policies apply to your domain policies as part of your domain profile. Okay, then of course, the topic of discussion here is the Fibre Channel Adapter Policy. So you can find that in Infrastructure Service. Get down to Policies. I like to filter on UCS Server Policies. Okay, and then the Fibre Channel Adapter Policy. Okay, so this Fibre Channel Adapter Policy is very important to how your virtual host bus adapter is going to behave on the host side. Okay, so as you have a VIC in your server, as you build a SAN connectivity policy and you start adding in VHBAs, okay, you're going to need to attach this policy to the VHBA. Okay, and it handles things including error detection and recovery, how you're going to allocate resources, your Fabric logins, port login settings, interrupts, throttle, okay, and many parameters. And it would in fact be daunting if you had to build that out from scratch. But if you're not, okay, as you build that policy, you have the capability to select 9 different catalog defaults that fit different operating system use cases, as well as different use cases for integrating with direct attached storage. Okay, so those defaults are probably going to meet your needs, and you probably don't want to change those defaults unless you have something like a Cisco validated design or vendor instructions per use case, okay, in changing those defaults. The defaults can't be changed in of themselves in the catalog, but what you can do is you can leverage and use the catalog item. You can save the policy and then go back in and edit the policy and then tweak any of those settings. Okay, so is the Fibre Channel Adapter Policy required as far as a successful server profile association or deployment down to the server? Yes, it is. Okay, if in fact you're going to use a SAN connectivity policy and you're going to add VHBAs to that policy, then this is a required policy for that VHBA. Okay, so you want to make sure you pay attention to it and don't skip over it. It is marked with an asterisk. That asterisk on a policy means yes, it's required. Okay. As far as recommendations, we commented on this before. I would stick with the default cataloged defaults that you have your different 9 selections for, whatever your use case is. Of course, if in fact you select one of those defaults, you save the adapter policy, you can go back in and edit, as I said, and you can tweak any of those settings. I would not do that in a production environment unless I'm absolutely instructed to do so by a vendor, okay, or I'm following a Cisco validated design or white paper. And it's often better to introduce a change like that in a lab environment as opposed to just experimenting and introduce it into a production environment. Now, as a means of verifying on the endpoint, on the server within the adapter, what settings you have deployed down with your server profile, you can log into the FI with an admin account, and you can access the API Explorer for any given server. Okay, so I've listed some commands down here because this allows you to kind of walk down through and get parameters that you include in the next command. Okay, so it's very much a walk type uh, methodology here. Okay, but you're going to get down to the network device functions IDs in the settings. Okay, and that's where you can corroborate and substantiate the values that you've actually pushed down with the adapter policy onto the endpoint. And as with all IMM Expert Series videos, I like to include a graphic slide that shows the relationship between the server profile template there on the left, or server profile derived from this template, and the policy in question. So as you can see, as far as a direct attach policy, we have our SAN connectivity policy, but then within that SAN connectivity policy, we have embedded policies, one of which is the Fibre Channel Adapter Policy. Okay, so now let's do a short demonstration and create a Fibre Channel Adapter Policy. So here we are in Intersight, Infrastructure Service. Go down to Policies. We're going to create a policy. I like to filter to UCS Server Policies. And then we're going to select Fibre Channel Adapter. Click Start. Verify your org, or select a different org, and then provide a meaningful name. And I like to provide kind of the settings in the name. So I'm going to select VMware as my catalog defaults. So I'll include that in my name. Now, if we go down here and we select default configuration, you see you have a drawer open up. We have 9 different combinations here, options, different operating systems. If we're doing direct attached storage and we need to basically have initiator type settings in our HBAs, then we're going to select initiator. If we're doing NVMe over Fibre Channel, we have initiator and target options for that use case as well. But for my use case, I'm going to select VMware, and I'm going to click Next. Now, these defaults here get automatically populated. I'm going to select UCS Server up here. And you can enable and disable certain things like error recovery. But it's disabled by default. And then click Create. Refresh the screen. And I should have my Fibre Channel Adapter Policy. Okay, so as far as verification, if you want to check your endpoint, a way you can do that is to log into the device console on the Fabric Interconnect. Okay, so we're going to do that. Okay, and then once there, we can click inventory and we can see our compute nodes. This is X series, so these are X210 Charlie M6 blades, or compute nodes, if you would. Okay, so from there, we're going to work with the first node there. Okay, 1.1. I'm going to go ahead and launch the API Explorer. So that pretty much launches it right to the blade, or in context of the blade. Okay, and I'm going to further filter this down to chassis. And then in conjunction with that slide and those commands that I showed you, you can kind of walk and get your information. Now, I've already pretty much done that. So I'm going to go down here to the final screen to show you. But I already know my chassis ID is 1. Okay, I only have 1 chassis in the lab here. My network ID, you're probably going to have to search for that with a previous command that's on that slide. Okay, and then the the actual device function is just the VHBA, and I know it's VHBA 0, or I could have put VHBA 1. Click send. I got a successful return. And if you scroll all the way down, you can start seeing some of the timeouts and the parameters that get set by the Fibre Channel Adapter Policy. So just a way that you can check if you want to check your endpoint settings to make sure they match what you have in the server profile from a desired state standpoint. That completes our video about Fibre Channel Adapter Policies. I hope you were able to pick up a few tips along the way. Stay tuned for more Intersight Managed Mode Expert Series videos. Thank you.